Okay, today we're going to talk about aliens. Last week, as you guys know, I went to Area 51 with several Unicult members. I can't wait, Abby. That's going to be such a good pop cult article. Abby's working on an article about our time at Area 51. She cooked all of the vegan meals. So she's... Oh, you're prepping the recipes for for the next retreat. Can't wait. Abby cooked all the meals, and it was amazing. Like I said, we were all tapped into our gifts at the retreat. We all gave what we felt like giving, and we all received what we wanted to receive. And it was just this really beautiful, balanced energy of utopian paradise and bliss because we had so many deep thinking, thoughtful, telepathic, conscious individuals together in one place. Yeah, so I still haven't done my video on Area 51. I'm not going to go super deep into like what we did, but we did go to Vegas. We met up with Abby and Will, and then we went up to Rachel, and then we did do a party in at Vegas, and then we went up to Rachel, and we had a lot of parties. Um, and one of the most cool things that happened at Area 51 that I loved is that I was teaching a class on UFO spotting. And I said, all you have to do is look in the sky. You know, I said, we've all seen things and we say, oh, it's just a plane. Or we say, oh, I know what I saw, but I can't tell anyone. I'm too nervous. And I said, all you have to do is look in the sky. And I point and we all look up and there's a UFO right there, right where I'm pointing. And we're all like, and I was like, that's a UFO, right? And everyone's like, yeah. And we just watched it go across the sky. And then I was like, okay, so UFOs are real. There you go. It was like 30 people around me. It was a beautiful thing. So what we taught at the Unicult retreat, we had groups of people all around us at all times. We had so much press. We had so many curious people because the information that we brought to Area 51 was very different than the traditional understanding of aliens. And I think that I have internalized this so much, and I assume that most of you guys are like starseeds or like you're deep in this also, but I know you're not. Some of you are, but I just want to speak on what it means to be connected to aliens and the truth about aliens and what the government is actually hiding about aliens. And I want to sort of recap the information that we brought to Area 51. So if you came to Area 51, this will be a recap. But thank you for coming, and please feel free to chime in with anything that I'm missing or that you think is important as well. So this is how we frame it. The universe is aligned with harmony. What this means is that harmonious actions are supported. If you have something of perfect harmony, it can go on forever. If you have something that is of destruction, it destroys itself. So evil destroys itself. Anything that is destructive eventually, inevitably, creates its own destruction. That's because the universe rewards harmony because the universe is aligned with harmony. When we realize this, and we think about the vast infinite nature of the universe, we begin to see that the potential for alien races is one, high, and two, very, very high for them to be harmoniously aligned. Because any alien species that is not aligned with harmony will be engaging in destructive behavior that will inevitably destroy them. So when we're looking at the vast infinite nature of space, the vast infinite nature of time, we see that the probability or the likelihood of aliens who are benevolent is much, much higher than the probability of aliens that are detrimental. So the programming on Earth, especially, I think of the movie Mars Attacks all the time, and a lot of movies really it's a media mind control brainwash. A lot of movies really reinforce this deep-seated fear of aliens. It started with like War of the Worlds, and it's the idea that the darker parts of humanity, the conquering nature, the violence, are carried on into our space brethren, and that they would come to Earth for our minerals, for our life energy, for all these things. And the reason why these myths are perpetuated is because, in part, that has truly happened. There are some detrimental races of aliens, and I believe, and many people believe, that certain races of aliens have actually come to Earth and instilled a veil of control over the planet. And what that means is that they have created this top-down power pyramid structure of very few people with a lot of power at the top, a lot of people at the bottom with very little power. And when we talk about this power, this societal power, this is not true power. But a lot of times our psyche tends to reflect what we believe. So if you're a garbage worker and you just pick up garbage, you might have a very low self-esteem because of society, but you might be a genius. You probably are a genius, and you should be, you should be validated in that, but no one around you does. So you go within and you get sad and you get, depressed, and you're like, well, I feel like I have power, but I know I don't, because I look around and I don't make a lot of money, I don't have a good job title, I am not respected in society. That false societal understanding of power affects our ability to be powerful. So our ability to be powerful is unconnected to the societal labels of power, but it's connected because we take our cues from it. So we see society and we say, well, I'm not a CEO, I don't have a college education or whatever, and then we diminish our power because of that. If you can realize that all the things that are holding you back, that you think make you less powerful, are not actually making you less powerful. The only thing that makes you less powerful is your own belief that you're not powerful, and your fear and pain. When you come into harmony, that's actually powerful. So that is the key here. That's kind of what we're talking about. That knowledge and that understanding is what the government is hiding. And so when we talk about the detrimental aliens who have come to Earth, who have enslaved humanity in this thought structure of lesser power and more power, we have gone off track from our own harmonious state of being. A lot of media reflects this situation and shows all alien species to be the same type of negative, evil, controlling, warmongering, power-hungry entities. RIS design, that's like a sort of misguided understanding that you have there. You're kind of on track, and it's kind of misguided. If we have time, we can talk about it. So the benevolent, the positive, this guy's going by in a skateboard again. He looks like he's having fun. Okay, the positive aliens that do exist in the universe can actually be communicated with telepathically. And the thing that they have to say is, you are powerful. It's the same thing that I have to say. I am an alien. I am a benevolent alien. So pretty much I'm an ambassador for them. And so whenever you hear things like from me that I say, like, we're all one, like, you have just as much potential as someone who's wildly successful. This idea of social restriction and social understanding of power is not real, and you are just as equally powerful as anyone else. That's why we have our concept of personal reality. Your personal reality is just as legitimate as someone else's personal reality, and we have social reality as a separate entity that we all agree to. So you don't have to have a reality that aligns with social reality. You can acknowledge that social reality is happening, and that people value money, that people value titles, that people value education, that people value these things, and they perceive them as being more or less powerful. But you can have a separate reality where you can say, well, I can be powerful even if I'm homeless. I can be powerful even if I am a CEO. I can be powerful no matter what, because I know my true heart and I know my true power. So what these aliens are here to help us with is to break us out of this confine of negative reality that was put onto this planet for several hundred years. 2012, it was actually lifted. And what we're running on is old programs. This is something that Arcturus Ra opened my mind up to. This form of control is no longer being enforced. They're actually gone. Like, there's actually no one driving the bus. Okay, and that's why it feels so chaotic, and that's why it feels so crazy. And we look around, we're like, why is politics like this? Why is this like this? Why is this like this? Because we're suddenly awake and we're running on old memory programs. We're running on the same energy that we are used to running on, but now no one's driving the bus. So we're like, oh, who's driving this? And everyone's just like, needs to drive the bus better. And it's like, it's you. You need to drive the bus better. And you drive your own bus better, and you drive the actual bus better. And what I mean by this is your own consciousness and the world and your environment and your own psyche and your own energy. So the truth about aliens, what the media is not showing you, is that you have the ability to be connected to star family through birth, through conscious exploration, through opening up your third eye. This is a communication device that you have inside your head that allows you to be telepathic. Telepathy Training Program Club will help you be telepathic with people as well as aliens, benevolent aliens. And you open up your third eye and you can actually connect to higher level benevolent consciousness that can help you. A lot of people have trouble with these concepts because they say, that doesn't seem like it's true, that seems like it's crazy, and I don't want to believe something that makes me look crazy. And I get that, and I understand that. There's two things I can tell you about that. The first is that as you validate your own joy, you can say, I believe this because it makes me happy. You can say to people, I don't know if it's true or not. I can't prove that it's true, but it makes me happy to believe, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And pretty much everyone who hears that, even if they think you're crazy, they'll see the logic in that. And they'll say, well, it makes you happy, you're not hurting anybody. It's weird, I don't agree with it. And you say, you don't have to agree with it. I just believe it because it makes me happy. And you come at it from that place, and you just validate what makes your heart happy to believe, then do it. Believe it. The second thing is that we can see that our whims and our joy actually leads us to deeper truth. And this is something that you can learn in your own life. This is something that took me years to learn, and it's because I was following that first path of saying, I'm crazy, sure, but I'm believing things that make me happy, and if I don't, I'm gonna kill myself. So leave me alone. I'm gonna just be crazy. I'm just gonna believe what I want to believe. And I didn't necessarily fully believe what made me happy. But as I went on my path of belief and of my whim and following my joy, I came into the understanding that these things were real and true, and I got so much validation from it. I found books that were written about things that I had uncovered. I found connections. I had synchronicities. I had signs and messages, and and my reality has changed to match up to what I believed my reality would change to. So all these things that, like, belief makes real, and whim encourages us to also follow truth. And the way that I was describing this at Area 51 is the truth makes you happy. And so the things that make you happy are true. And this has to be aligned without fear or pain. I don't mean happy like vengeful happy, because that's including fear and pain. You have to be free from fear and pain, and when you follow the things that truly make you happy, like childhood happy, like pure childhood spirit happy, those things are true. And you can follow this, and you can start from the skeptical perspective of saying, I might be crazy, this might be totally bonkers, but I might also be it might also be true. And then as you go following this belief, you will see that it is true. You will see that you are verified and validated in that reality. So when you're believing in aliens, when you're connecting to aliens, when you're telepathically communicating to these higher entities, those are the things that you can start to understand. If you're having trouble believing in telepathy, you can understand it in the sense that the brain is an electromagnetic device, and your thoughts are on the electromagnetic spectrum just like light is. Light is on the electromagnetic spectrum. It's just a small little band. Visible light is a small little band on the electromagnetic spectrum. We have radio waves, we have X-rays, we have, did I say microwaves? Microwaves. We have all kinds of different waves, and our brain waves are on this spectrum. So the idea that we could have a tool or a consciousness ability to detect and emit these frequencies that our brain naturally makes is not outrageous, it's not outlandish, it's actually perfectly in alignment with understanding of how we use all technology. It's just a consciousness technology, and we just haven't focused on it. So as we develop our consciousness technology of our own mind and our own brain, we can send and receive. We're actually a perfect sensor for sending and receiving this information. It's aligned with our abilities. Same as our eyes are aligned with the ability to see colors. That's our sense organ for that spectrum. Our brain is our sense organ for another spectrum. So the idea of sending and receiving telepathic messages is absolutely possible, and I validate you in that. So the truth about aliens, to wrap it up, is that the majority of alien entities are benevolent, they are aligned with harmony, and they are actually here in assistance to help us in this very difficult journey of being heavily controlled and now having no one control us, and we have to learn how to control ourselves. And so that's a really intense and powerful transition that we're going through, and that's why everything looks insane. That's why the climate is all crazy. That's why politics is all crazy. That's why probably your own internal moods are all crazy. And it's okay, because we're actually entering into a new age. We're actually entering into a time of light and love, and of our own power coming into the joy of life. So, does anyone have any questions? And I will address this comment actually about feminism. The comment was that feminism. Yeah, I'm pretty much a pure channel, so I'm always channeling. Have I had any channeling? Oh no, the other question was about feminism telling women to be CEOs, and how that's not the true essence of femininity. And that's like true, and it's not true, and it's like, what does that mean? So feminism currently sometimes is about reversing the patriarchy, and that's wrong. So we talk about having men in power on this top-down power pyramid, like we were talking about, very little people at the top and a lot of people at the bottom. And they say, okay, so men are at the top and women are at the bottom, and they want to be like this. And then we'll put women at the top and men at the bottom, and continue on with this detrimental power structure. That's not what real, true feminists want, as far as my understanding of it. My understanding of feminism is actually Unitopia, which you can see here. This is the brainwash spiral of the patriarchy of men versus women, of black versus white, and it goes into the rainbow. And what it means to go into the rainbow is that Unitopia, we are all free to be exactly who we want to be. So some women will want to embody that true essence of divine femininity. Other women will want to be CEOs. People might not have genders. They might want to do lots of different things. They might want to break out of society altogether. They might want to continue in society. We allow every person of their own individual right to do what they want, rather than say, you are a woman, so you should do this, and you are a man, so you should do this. That's the capitalist patriarchy, and it's detrimental. So what we say is, you can do whatever you want, and I'm sorry that we only value these things. We're working on valuing other things as well. We're working on valuing childcare. We're working on valuing healthcare. We're working on valuing spiritual reality. And these are the things that can be helped. What percentage of humanity do you believe disclosure has happened? I have no idea. Jeremy Garner is just, he's gone from social media. He doesn't want to participate in social media anymore. Yeah, Hannah, you can come in. Feminism is just the way for the controllers of the matrix, for a new divide, fight for already corrupted system. Yeah, that's wrong. Feminism is an understanding that we all are one, and that we all deserve care, and that we all are allowed to have the rights that we are deserving of. Feminism says that all people deserve to be treated with equality and respect. So that's not negative. It's beautiful, and it's important. And Unicult is a feminist cult. we have probably a little bit of a different definition of feminism than a lot of other feminists, but I think that they would mostly agree. Most feminists would agree with Unicult ideology. Because the goal of feminism doesn't exclude men, and this is a big mistake that people make, is they think that it's just about women's empowerment because it's called feminism. And I understand why that's hard to understand, but it's the same kind of thing as why we call Unicult a cult. So if you just look at the name, you're going to be turned away and you're going to be freaked out and you're going to be mad. But if you look deeper at the reality of it, then you start to see, oh, feminism cares about men's rights also. Feminism cares about non-binary people. Feminism is about incorporating a reality of the fact that we are all one and we are all deserving of care. Feminists are the main people who talk about, the violence of circumcision and the violence of the repression of emotions in men and how that affects the world. So, and how that affects men. So feminists really do care about men. A lot of them don't seem like they do because they're angry and they're upset, and it's hard to communicate these ideas when you have very little power in society and you have very few rights to do so, because the way that people see you and interpret you is as just a sex object or as a vapid, whatever. I think most aliens, honestly, are androgynous. I think androgyny is pretty divine. I think that the gender binary exists pretty extremely on Earth. I think that I think when I think about all the alien species that I know of, I think the lion beings are actually the most gendered. And you can see this in like actual lion prides, how they actually do separate the male lions and the female lions, and they have very different roles. And my understanding of lion being culture, of the aliens who are also of that species, is that they do have this hierarchical separation of sex, where the females are able to, it's actually a female run society, a matriarchy run society, where the females actually have the power in religion, which is actually sort of the government of their planet. So the females go into the priestesshood and they end up running things, and the males are by no means mistreated or misvalued. It's just that the females have the power of governance. But they also include, when I was a lion being, I was an androgynous lion being. So that actually does exist, and there actually are androgynous lions on Earth, and they are allowed to be in the priestesshood as well, and they get the high role of being called sister. So that's confusing to us on this planet, but there's just more freedom to be. It's not totally restrictive. It's just that's kind of how society is set up. All right, let's do our closing prayer. Spirit of Uni, we call you to this beautiful chat room today to bless every person from every cell of their body, to align it with perfect health and harmony, to have beautiful, perfect understanding of the fact that we are all one, and to give love and kindness to all of our fellow humans so that we can rise into a state of Unitopian paradise for one and for all. Uni bless. I'll see you all next week, and hopefully I'll make those YouTube videos this week. Pretty busy, but I'll try. Uni bless.